Kaisuke Kosaka is just an ordinary high school student who has a little sister, Karino Kosaka, and the two almost hate each other. Karino is almost the perfect student given that she is the top student in her school, an athlete, and even a magazine model. However, even though she seems like the perfect girl, she has a secret that her brother does not know, which could change his view of her. Kaisuke comes home from school, and just like on other days, he pours his usual juice as Karino talks on the phone. But as Kaisuke goes to his room, the two collide, causing things to fly out of Karino's bag. But when Kaisuke offers to help pick up her things, Karino refuses and goes to her room. Just after Karino leaves, Kaisuke finds a DVD of a video game under the table. He finds out that it's Eroge, which is an erotic video game with younger sister-themed tropes. Kaisuke is unsure whether it belongs to his sister, so he decides to hide it until he finds out. But upon further investigation, he discovers that it only could have fallen from Karino's bag, but when he confronts her, she denies that it's hers. Later that night, Karino wakes Kaisuke up with a slap and takes him to a room to show him an insane collection of figurines from the DVD. However, contrary to what Karino expected, Kaisuke does not find his sister's hobby so weird and actually accepts it. But even with that, she still asks him not to tell anyone about her hobby. Karino also asks Kaisuke to share this hobby with her as well. Kaisuke agreed because he thought it would be fun to share with his sister, no matter how strange it was. At first, Kaisuke was excited about it and even started playing games about anime. However, after some time he got bored with it and asked Karino to find friends who also shared the same interests. Since otakus are not that well accepted in society, Karino was scared that if she revealed her otaku side, she would tarnish her perfect image. As an alternative, Kaisuke encourages her to look for an online group of otaku girls who have meetups. That way she could have more friends with the same hobbies as hers. After a while, the online group had its first meeting. Karino tells Kaisuke to go with her since she doesn't want to go alone. But even though they are together, Karino tells him to keep his distance from her because everyone will see him as a perverted stalker. During the meeting, Karino does not socialize out of embarrassment. However, as they leave, Saori Makishima, the group's leader, and her friend Ruri Goku invite Karino to have a meal together. A few days later, Karino starts talking with Ruri on the phone daily, and they even recommend games and movies to watch together. On the other side, Kaisuke was hanging out with his childhood friend Minami Tamura, who had a crush on him. However, no matter how hard she tries to show Kaisuke how she feels, he doesn't seem to notice her feelings. When Kaisuke returns home, he finds his father scolding Karino after discovering her hobbies. It becomes so intense that Karino even runs out of the house. Kaisuke then runs after her and convinces her that he will help her fix the situation. Kaisuke then confronts his father about his sister's hobby, and he tries to convince him that it is normal. To persuade him, he ended up saying that the DVD was his and that Karino knew the anime because of him, and even though he saved his sister, Kaisuke was punched hard by his father. After everything calms down, the father tries to understand his children's hobbies, but he only accepts them halfway. As Kaisuke is playing one of his sister's games, Saori calls him and tells him that she sends some things to his sister. Shortly after, a package arrives for Kaisuke, but Karino snatches it from him and leaves for her room where her friends are waiting. Out of curiosity, Kaisuke called Saori to ask about the box's contents. In the moment Saori said it was products from the anime that Karino likes, Kaisuke immediately rushed to Karino's room to prevent her from opening the box in front of her friends. Karino then fights to prevent Kaisuke from taking the box away from her, but this leads him to end up in a compromising position. Kaisuke accidentally touched his sister's private part and her friend saw the whole scene. The following day, Karino and Kaisuke went to a manga event with Saori and Ruri when they came across Ayase Aragaki, one of Karino's best friends. Ayase then asked Karino what she's doing there. Karino evades the question. She then tells her brother to help her out of the situation. Kaisuke then helps her, saying that they have to leave. While they're leaving, Ayase grabs Karino's bag, accidentally ripping it. She manages to see her friend's manga. She then tells Karino that she won't be her friend anymore. A few days later, Karino was still upset by her friend's rejection, who also called her a pervert. Kayasuk tries to cheer up her feelings, but they fight as Karino tells him he has to help fix the situation. Without any other option, Kayasuk agrees to talk to Iase and fix the problem. He later meets Iase and starts explaining why having these hobbies is not a bad thing and is in fact fun. Iase refuses his explanation, saying that Kayasuk was the one who influenced Karino. As the two are arguing, Karino appears and tells Iase the truth. But this doesn't convince Iase to accept Karino. She claims that the hobbies are just too obscene. Kayasuk then tries to explain how this anime helped his relationship with his sister, but he ends up sounding even more perverted. In the end, Iase feels sorry for Karino, thinking that Kayasuk is a pervert with a crush on his little sister. Days later, Minami invites Kayasuk to hang out at her house on Halloween. Minami's relatives are happy that Kayasuk is visiting them after so long. Kayasuk then decided to stay and help the family decorate for Halloween. By the time they were done, it was already late and Minami offered to let Kayasuk stay for the night. He accepts that they all have dinner together. After eating, Minami proposed that Kayasuk take a bath, but he insisted that she go first. Minami then jokes that they should take a bath together. Contrary to what she expected, Kayasuk agreed, but it turned out to be a joke. When it was bedtime, Minami's family did everything they could to ensure that Minami and Kayasuk slept in the same bed. Then they started talking about their childhoods and Kayasuk tells her he will invite her to his house the next time. On the other hand, Karino is upset with Kayasuk because he is not at home with her. One day when Kayasuk was coming home from school, he found Ruri sitting in the living room, having been invited by Karino. This was the only day they could watch anime in the living room since the parents weren't there. Kayasuk then realizes Karino is not in the living room because the two of them had thought about the anime novels they had written. Kayasuk then went to get Karino so that she could make peace with Ruri. Before they apologized, they talked about why they were angry with each other, and because of that, they started to fight with each other yet again. The following day, as Kayasuk was leaving for school, Karino confronted him about some explicit stuff she found on his laptop. He immediately accepts his mistake and tells his sister it won't happen again. So to compensate her, she tells him he must take her shopping. As there was shopping, Kayasuk discovered that the novel Karino had written was quite famous, but she was struggling to continue the story. So apart from shopping, Karino also wanted a creative outlet to get some ideas. Her novel was about brother-sister relationships. She forces Kayasuk to roleplay with her in order to get new ideas. They had a lot of scenarios, even ending up in a hotel. But after all that, Karino manages to finish her novel. Karino's novel then becomes famous, even getting an offer to bring it to television as an anime. Karino receives an invitation to a meeting to further discuss the project. This made Karino nervous, so she asked Saori and Ruri to accompany her as support. And even though she agrees to come, Ruri keeps on making fun of the novel. During the meeting, Karino proposes some kinky ideas to the producers, but they are all rejected. Karino felt terrible that they were changing all her ideas. They even suggested changing the gender of the protagonist. When she got home, Karino fell unconscious into her brother's arms after being disappointed. Wanting to change things for his sister, Kayasuk decides to go to the second meeting on her behalf. Even though the producers initially rejected Karino's suggestions, they changed their minds after Ruri delivered a speech and Kayasuk was humiliated. One day upon getting home, Kayasuk finds Karino anxiously waiting for a package. When it finally arrives, Kayasuk realizes it's one of those games she likes. He doesn't pay much attention and goes to his room. However, things get weird when Karino starts playing as though there is no one else at home. Kayasuk becomes uncomfortable, especially when she starts making weird noises. He finally shouted to his sister to shut up, for which she accuses him of being a pervert. Iase and Karino had argued a few days before, and Iase was thinking of making amends. Since Karino had been telling her a lot about anime, she asked Kayasuk for the perfect gift for Karino. Kayasuk then goes with Saori and Ruri to find a gift. After searching for hours, They find the perfect gift for Karino, but to earn it, they had to win cosplay contest first. Since Ayase refused to cosplay, she plans on getting another girl to do it. She then tricks another friend, Kanako Kurusu, who thinks that it is a modeling contest. Eventually Ayase tricks her into cosplaying an anime character at an otaku convention, and since Kanako looks like the main character, she wins with a huge advantage. Because of this, Ayase can now give the gift to Karino. One day when Kayasuke was walking in the supermarket, he came across Minami and invited her to hang out at his house. Since Kayasuke's parents are not at home, she offers to cook for him. When the two get home, Karino has a jealous attitude towards her brother, treating the pair rudely, trying to annoy her. Karino tells Minami to clean the house before cooking and she agrees to do it. Minami finished cleaning the house and even made lunch, for which Karino suddenly thanked her sweetly. However, it was all an act because when Kayasuke got to his room, he found that Karino had left a game and some obscene magazines in there. To his surprise, Minami doesn't seem affected by it at all. Saori, Ruri, Kayasuke and Karino organize a small get-together to celebrate Karino's book becoming an anime. All the girls dress up as maids and have a good time together. Karino apologizes for treating Minami rudely and gives them an obscene game. Kayasuke then thanks her and they make peace. In the morning, Karino was very kind and understanding. She even made Kayasuke breakfast. Later, Karino asked Kayasuke to buy her a game that was released that very day. When he goes to the store to get it later that day, he realizes that his sister is not the only one who wants that game. When he gets a game, he sneaks it in so that his father doesn't realize what he's doing. He then gives a gift to his sister, but she tells him to stay and play with her. After playing, Karino shows a diary to her brother where she wrote that she had a ticket to go to America. Even though Kayasuke was feeling mad that she hadn't told him earlier, he told her he wasn't going to stop her. However, Karino hits him saying she wanted him to convince her not to go and says he needs